rectify in no time. Let me pick it off, okay, from Barrister Izeluche. Barrister,
Yeah, how are you? Thank you.
yeah, very well. Now, Barrister, citizenship and taxation. Tinubu said Nigerians who avoid tax should not be regarded as citizens. Does framing taxation as a condition, for citizenship strengthen compliance or undermine the social contract? I'd like you to give me, clarity on that. And of course, you'd agree with me that we have, tax burden, versus trust on another side. With Nigerians facing subsidy removal, tariff hikes, and inflation, what is the realistic limit to how much more tax citizens can actually absorb without eroding trust in government?
Well, thank you very much. See, there are some comments that Mr. Bola Tinubu makes that get some of us very worried because that particular comment shows a very clear lack of understanding and appreciation of the Nigerian Constitution. Because what qualifies somebody as a citizen of Nigeria is well spelled out in the Nigerian Constitution. Unless Bola Tinubu has not read it, and there is nowhere tax is mentioned, tax payment is mentioned in that clause. And this is fundamental because it appears that he does things at will. He doesn't even regard the Nigerian Constitution as anything. The reality is that the taxation of paying taxes has nothing to do with citizenship. Some citizens don't even have access to funds, to money that they can pay tax. Does that mean they do not qualify as a citizen? And the reality is this: corporate bodies, multinational corporate bodies actually pay more tax than individuals. In most climes, I look in Nigeria. Does that mean that those multinational corporations are greater citizens than Nigerians who may be poor and cannot afford to pay tax? So that comment is very, very reprehensible. And particularly when you look at the context in which it was made, far away Rwanda in Kigali. And then when you look at even the videos of what Mr. President said, you will even feel shame for the country because he uttered a lot of things that are inaudible, incomprehensible, and senseless in response to questions that were asked. And he has to make to tell Nigerians that not paying taxes is equal to not being a citizen. And he also exuded ignorance because the reality is this: once you are living in Nigeria and you are consuming products, you are consuming goods, you are paying taxes either directly or indirectly. Because when you go to buy things from markets, you are paying VAT, you're paying the cost that was incurred in bringing those produce or goods to the market. So living in Nigeria means that already you are paying some taxes. Now the issue is what kind of tax is the person paying? And that is what should be worrying us. Nobody wants to pay taxes to a government he feels is robbing him. When in reality, you see your tax money as you are paying the tax money, the person you are paying it to is just putting it in his pocket, going to buy a mansion in Dubai or in America. You will not want to pay because it actually becomes stupid to continue to pay such taxes. I will give you a practical example. The head of the FIRS was shown in a convoy of more than 8 cars moving. A tax officer whose salary, whose income is based on the Nigerian tax, moves around in a convoy filled with armed policemen and various cars, I'm sure, bulletproof vehicles. And this is a tax officer. As a taxpayer, when you see your funds are being used by this same person who is the head of FIRS, it's enough stimulus not to even pay tax. When you pay tax and you see that the monies you are paying is being wasted by the president and his team on gallivanting, on junkets abroad, wasteful tours that are not even bringing any return on investment. Why would anybody want to pay tax in that dispensation? Why would anybody want to pay punitive taxes? Because these are punitive taxes. When he makes such comments, he continues to show that he has no nexus with how Nigerians feel. That he doesn't understand governance issues, and he's trying to equate taxation with citizenship. I don't want to use very harsh words, but those are very, very insensitive terms that Mr. President has used, and his aide should have corrected it immediately or even debunked it. But what still? Which aide will do that? Is this the overpaid aides like Banonuga and Co, who are living large on taxpayers' funds? So he wants us to keep on paying those punitive taxes so that his aides can keep on riding around in living in luxury, while the majority of Nigerians continue to dwell in penury. No, I mean, I think it's coming to a stage where regularly we have to call this president to account. He's not accounted for the funds that have been accrued. He's not the funds that are budgeted for. The ministry say they don't even receive it. Why will you pay taxes in that kind of instance when you know that the money is being stolen? Because let us be clear, when funds are budgeted for and the people that are budgeted for have not received it, the funds are stolen. Because it's stolen in the sense that it has left where it should live and it has not reached where it should go to. So when did it go in between? Did it go into the pockets of some people in government? And the president dares to tell Nigerians that our citizenship is based on paying funds to people that will steal the money. I'm sure he was joking. But sadly, that joke was at an international venue that makes Nigerians look ridiculous before the international community.
Ready to lead the future of AI and business with a doctorate? Join the doctorate in business administration.
That makes Nigerians look ridiculous before the international community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barrister Ezeluche. But you said something which I'd just like, to stay with you for just a few more minutes. You said when funds leave a certain place and has not gotten to where it was meant to get to, the fund is here. How do we actually hold the government accountable to that particular funds that has been stuck somewhere or that we are not even getting? Because we are not seeing transparency on so many things. When a funds is actually, approved to leave, including the borrowing, when it leaves a certain place and it is not even getting here for us to see what you actually utilize the money for, what the money was meant to be used for. So how do we hold the government accountable? How do we get clarity on that particular line? Who should we hold? And what should we do as a nation?
Thank you very much. You see, we have a very fraudulent constitution, an odd constitution that gives the president virtually all powers in this world. I mean, all powers about government resides in the presidency, resides in one person, in the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He gets to appoint the head of the police. He gets to appoint the head of the Financial Intelligence Bureau. He gets to appoint the head of the EFCC, the judiciary. Everything is appointed by the same man. And these are agencies or entities in serious countries that checkmate the excesses of the executive. These are the agencies that should call them to justice or hold them to account. Because you and I, as civilians, can't just go to the public and begin to maybe create some violence. No. There are supposed to be agencies, established agencies by law, that should get them, bring them to account. Let me give you a critical example. In the United States, Donald Trump, with all his efforts, was not able to remove the chairman of the Federal Reserve. He was not able to do that because constitutionally, that office is charged with maintaining fiscal balance, fiscal accountability. He can't change it. He hated the man with passion, but he could not change the man until his tenure was over. And the man did his job. But in this country, guess what happens? The CBN governor is sacked at will of the president. The police chief is sacked. He appoints his cronies as an EFCC. He puts his friend as a national security advisor. And everything is messed up because all these characters, all these organizations, which should be checkmating the presidency or the executive when they exceed the bounds of legality, are messed up, and they are loyal not to the constitution, not to the people, but to an entity who himself is skilled in this instance. Because if we had an altruistic president, if we had a president who had Nigeria at heart, this would not be a problem. But sadly, we have a character who is bereft of ideas, who does not even want the progress of this country, endowed with all those powers. So you and I can checkmate him, but the only power we have is at the next elections. We make sure that this character is pushed out. But you see him trying to manipulate the entire process. He is manipulating the INEC, he's manipulating the police, everything to try to reinstate himself in office. But Nigerians must resist it because over time we can hold these characters in government accountable for their profligacy is at the next elections. And we must ensure that they are kicked out of office and we bring in more prudent people to man the affairs of this country.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.